All right, guys, welcome to Ignite. This is, I got the wrong PowerPoint up, don't I? Great. Not the one I pulled up. Let me see here. Close that one. Open this one. There we go. We got Elements Session 1. Slideshow from beginning. Boom. Now, I hope my screen's still sharing the same. Should be looking at Elements 1. Does that look right on your end?
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, guys. So we just finished the Spark session. There's 9 sessions where we talk about not only how to grow your business, but how to run your business. So we've talked about ways that you can grow your business. Now we're going to talk about really how to build that business, the actual hands-on things to do. So this is where the rubber hits the road. You've got the general concepts to help your business grow. And today I'm going to do a lot of looking at my book while I'm going through this session because I made some killer notes on this. I mean, this is prospecting. This is what it's all about. This is the 20%. So everything else we're going to cover in elements from this point forward. When we talk about buyers, when we talk about sellers, how to negotiate contracts, how to get them to write their best offer first, how to do all that stuff. None of that matters unless you get this session right here, prospecting for your business, because that's how you get the appointments. There is no reason to master a listing presentation and master a buyer consultation or master how to negotiate contracts until you've got enough people that actually want to do that. So today, again, we're moving back into lead generating for buyers and sellers. And we're talking about connecting the prospect to the lead generation. So like I said, I'm going to read a little bit from my notes. So I'm going to put on my popcorn. I was going to say grandpa glasses, but my grandson calls me popcorn for grandpa. So these are my popcorn glasses. And so when we're looking at today, just prospecting the path is your map to your lead generation success. So when you understand the lead generation model, then you're going to find more business, like I was just saying. So being proactive and direct is going to help you find like people to put in your database. That's being proactive and direct. You're going to the people that are on your Facebook friends list. You're going to the people that are in your cell phone, and you're going to contact 5 a day. You're going to be on purpose just to connect with 5 people in your community every single day, and then get them into the database and start them on a follow-up plan. So in our world, that is put them in command and start them on a SMART plan. And the SMART plan, after you talk to somebody, I'm going to suggest is 8 touches in 8 weeks. And the very first touch is a handwritten note following up that first call. So great talking to you. Glad that you answered the phone or whatever it might be, and then reference something about them. So great to hear that the kids are doing well, or glad work's going good, or glad you survived the last couple of years and had fun, and blah, 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 whatever happened in your conversation. That's what you're going to recap in that handwritten note. And you're going to drop that in the mail. So that means addresses are critical. You want phone number and addresses. Please get out of the comfort zone of just having emails all the time. Only because most people send out blast emails looking for business. And I'm telling you right now, I can bet, and you can raise your hand if you want to challenge that this did not happen in the last week, that you didn't click an email, scroll down and click again and select a whole bunch of emails and you hit delete. Guys, when somebody's not expecting something from you, they're deleting their emails in chunks, and you've probably deleted some of your emails in chunks. And I bet you if you go in your deleted folder right now, skim through the subject lines, somebody in there was going to tell you how to make a bunch of money selling real estate. Somebody has a program that got them 49 listings on social media. Somebody has a program that can get you listing appointments or sell you leads or anything to help you with your business, and you deleted it in chunks. You just deleted it. You didn't even see it was there. And the reason why is because they're throwing this stuff at you. You have no clue who they are. You didn't ask for any of that stuff, and it's not grabbing your attention. Well, I want to welcome you to the real world that is probably what's happening with most of your marketing as well. And I know that we think that it's not, but it is. So connect with your database first so that you can be on purpose and proactive. And I'm just going to be the first to tell you, be honest with you, that what you're doing is you're building a pipeline that is going to kick out a consistent flow of business forever, as long as you keep doing it. But you got to build the pipeline up. Right now, your pipeline is Zippo, nada. And you got to get people in there. You got to get enough people in there so that if you want to close 2 deals a month, 4 deals a month, 8 deals a month, 10 deals a month, you have to have enough people in there that if they're moving every 5 years, that you can keep that amount of business coming out of your pipeline every single day. The other thing I'm going to tell you on running the business is, or finding the leads to bring into your database. So let's see. Oh, if you're finding more leads to add to your database, it's not buying them from anyone. It is adding every single human being that you come in contact with from this day forward. From today forward, anybody you come in contact with, I want you to see a real estate sale sign in their yard, because everybody's moving sometime in the next 5 years or so. So every single human being you come in contact with right after this call, if you go anywhere today, this afternoon, if you are interacting with human beings, they are moving. And if you don't take the opportunity to somehow figure out how to have a conversation with them, to somehow figure out how to maybe find their phone number and address later, however you want to look at it, every human being is possibly moving. They are moving. But you need to capture that and get that in your database. I mean, if somebody's going to cold call and go door knock, why not get the freaking Quick Trip guy's name and number? I don't know if you guys have Quick Trip there or not. The gas station that you go to every morning, he's got a name tag on with his name. If you go in there every single day, or you go to any store every single day, grocery store, whatever, I mean, and that clerk or somebody helps you and you get to have a little small talk conversation every single week at the grocery store, for example, or at the gas station, man, start working into those conversations. Wear your real estate name tag. I guarantee you they're going to ask you one day, oh, are you a real estate agent? What's the market doing? Oh, that's awesome. You ask. Yes, I am. Why? Are you thinking about buying or selling? I mean, if you're going to cold call strangers, why not do that? That's way easier than go door knocking, trying to get somebody not slam their door in your face. So every single human being you come in contact with from this day forward is your potential prospect. You've already all got a lot of the secrets, giving you some of the secret stuff, secret sauce on, I'm going to look for my chat box here, on fastpeoplesearch.com, and some of the ways that you can find addresses and phone numbers. So you got fastpeoplesearch.com. And you can go to Facebook. You know, if you look on Facebook, even your Facebook friends list, or they don't even have to be your friend, you can put in the little search window, you can just type in their name and you can find anybody on Facebook. You don't have to be their friend, but it'll bring up a whole bunch of people, and you can usually look at the picture or the profile and recognize who they are, especially if it's somebody you just met in the community. And you go to the About Me, the About page, and it tells what city they live in. What city do they live in? So if you're starting out scratch with the Quick Trip or the gas station person's name, right, and you're in that town, chances are they probably live close to there, chances are. And if you put it in to fastpeoplesearch.com, just their name and the city, it will start searching for anybody close to there. And if anything, you might see it pop up in a neighboring town, which if you know your areas and little communities around there, you might see them pop up on that, and it's going to show every address they've ever been in. So on this stuff here, just connecting and prospecting to lead generation, the prospecting methods we're going to go over, we're going to talk about taking action and really your plan to create your success list. So at the end of every manual is a success list. And it's where you write down what successes you've had, who you've added to the database. So start keeping track of what you're going to put in place and what you've done that's working while you're going through Ignite, rather than just grabbing the information and just being ready to use it. We want you to actually use it. All right, Jason, it looks like I might have gave my link out again. So we got a couple Brad Korns in the room. If you notice that your name says Brad Korn, you might go in and see if you can rename yourself back to your name so we know who you are. Or else Jason might direct message you too to find out who you are so we can keep track of who showed up so we know who has questions and things like that. I'm going to pause here for just a second before we get too far in. Does anybody have any questions or anything? All right, we're going to keep rolling then. So prospecting, the lead generation model. Guys, the whole MREA book, with Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, was built on the funnel to capture and convert leads. Only what we've realized too is that you got to capture and get them in. You do have to cultivate them most of the time, because as you've learned, if you've been coming to any of my Ignite classes, you already understand that 98 to 99% of the people you meet are not moving today. What that means is when we're catching business, because we need to close some deals. If you look at this graphic, if you've got it in front of you, it's we want to get to an appointment, get them actively looking at properties. We want them under contract, or we want a closing so we can get paid. And in between there, you got to determine if they're contacts or if they're leads. And this conversation has been coming up a lot on a lot of KW stuff. If you're not really plugged into KW International and some of the weekly calls that Mark King does, man, I'm telling you, this is your livelihood. This is real estate. Treat this like it's the biggest, best career you are ever going to have an opportunity for, because all of you can create unlimited income. You are creating a small business without having to invest in a huge building and mass marketing and building your customer base. You're just starting with your Facebook friends list and your cell phone list, and you already have an office to use at KW. In fact, KW is going to let you use this awesome office, let you use the front desk, let you use the conference rooms to have a brick and mortar business for your real estate business. And when you think about this like a business, man, I'm telling you, every single day, you're going to look more at these opportunities. And what we talk about in leads, they talk about leads are they're not really money in the bank. They don't know you. They don't know if they want to like you or trust you. And you have to gain that over time. Now, the immediacy of the current market has kind of shortened that a little bit, where some people just want to go see a house. And here's where I'm going to challenge you too. You might want to be careful of the one that will be the buyer that will run out and not come in and do a consultation, but they want you to run out and meet them at a property, has probably been turned down by 5 other real estate agents who figured out they're not qualified to buy a house. So whoever's running out is maybe more the more desperate agent that's looking for a deal, when if they won't come in for a buyer consultation, I have found most of the time they're not a serious buyer. I'm not saying all the time they're not, but now I got to pause here for a second, because some of you might be fairly new in real estate as well. And this is your training ground as well. The more you do it, the more you can figure it out and get better at it. So I'm going to sound contradictory here, but I will sometimes tell new agents, you know what, maybe you just need to pop tart over and go show a house, because you don't know what all the houses are that's on the market. You don't know what a $450,000 house versus a $650,000 house really looks like. So maybe you need to be pop tarting and meeting some buyers and see if you can convert them into a consultation from a run out and meet them appointment. And if you can master that, see if your brain is thinking like that, like a business person, you're going to get really good at what you do. What you don't want to do is just pop tart and run out and show a house. I mean, first of all, there's safety issues that we got to talk about. But secondly, if you gain nothing from it and you're not using any scripts to try and convert and close so that you can capture them and get them into your system and cultivate them into an actual closing or any of that other stuff, then you really are just wasting your time. So even if it's practice, the one thing I hope that you take after today's call, every single human being that you come in contact with from this day forward is a potential buyer or seller. Now I'm going to test you here. What if you bump into a real estate agent that just got into real estate a few months ago, along with you? Maybe you went to school with them, whatever, and you bump into them, a real estate agent. What are you going to do with that? Is that just a real estate agent? No, don't really need to do anything? Or what would you guys think you would do with a new real estate agent that you might have met, or anybody that you went to real estate school with? If you're new, if you're still new and you went with, you bump into them, what do you think you would do with them?
Maybe try to get him to come to work with Keller Williams.
I love that for sure, because profit sharing is awesome. So yes, that would be fine. And you don't want to necessarily convert them to KW. You may not know enough about it, but you just might say, man, you wouldn't believe that. What kind of training are you guys getting at, since you picked your company? What kind of training are you guys getting? And then say, oh my gosh, we've been in this intense training, and it's so easy and so basic. It's like, invite them to come on the call, right? Even if they're still at their other company. So that is definitely one way, but I'm going to go one level further, because in real estate school, and I don't know if they still say it in school today, but if they do, you probably remember them saying it. And it was the day you got a little nervous after you got into real estate school. And they said, over the next 3 to 5 years, how many realtors will drop out of real estate? Did they talk about this in school?
Yeah.
60 to 80%?
Yes.
Does
Yep.
that sound about close?
Yep.
Yeah. So here's another perspective. I said, every human being you meet from this day forward, if they're not in your database, they're probably moving, buying or selling, right? So every real estate agent that you went to school with, 60 to 80% of them are going to drop out in the next 3 to 5 years. What if, while they were building their list and doing their thing to try and survive, they have a list of people and they're ready to get out in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and you stayed in touch with them ever since today, whenever you bumped into them, and you talking and they're just struggling? First of all, that opens up the KW conversation. So I love that. But secondly, if they didn't get it and they're dropping out, or they had to go get another job, or they're still at their job and they can't do real estate as much as they wanted, what if you were to say, why don't you give me your list, keep your license active, whatever you do, put it in referral, figure out, because they can put their license in referral and you can still pay them referral fees. It's like, don't let all of this go to waste, right? What if you just give me your list of people? We'll send out a letter that you and I are working together, and if they have any real estate questions, they can call either one of us, and you just make sure you get it back to me. Or if I get them, I know they're tagged in the database as yours, and I will send you a referral fee. Send you a 25% referral fee would be one example. You can send whatever percentage you want. But how many of you right now are going, oh yeah, woo? Listen, I've collected agents' databases over the years and sent them referral checks. I've sent 2 people in particular like 10 grand one year. And that was just from them getting out of real estate. Well, actually, one got out of real estate after a long time. So her database, I think I sent her around $8,000 or $10,000. Another one was a fireman friend of mine that he worked at the fire department, went ahead and went through school and got his real estate license, never intended on selling real estate, but he knew all the firemen were moving and buying investment properties. So, and he knew that I could pay him a referral fee as long as he was licensed. So he called one day and said, man, should I get my real estate license? I'm like, heck yeah, I can pay you a referral fee. I sold 11 fireman houses that year. 11. How many of you want a bonus 11 sales this year? Woohoo! Well, I can't guarantee 11. There's no guarantees on this. It depends on work. But guys, every human being that you meet from this day forward should go in your database, right? So the follow-up things to a real estate agent, especially a local one, could just be sharing a link to this video or grab a screenshot of something really cool and paste it into your email and just go, just got out of a great session that was talking about this and it made me think of you. And you have all those real estate agents. Now, I'm going to give you even one more bonus. Like, this is why this world is so stinking awesome. Because when you get connected with people, your cooperative real estate transactions in the future, with the more realtors that you can connect with, that you actually, wait, here's a quick trick question. If I met a realtor today in the community, whether I went to a real estate event or not, and we had a good conversation, what's the first step you do after you connect with somebody? Come on. It's simple. It's not a trick question. Come on, you guys can do it. You guys can do it. Write a note. Write a note. I know, I'm making this way too simple, aren't I? You know how many notes I write to local real estate agents? Every time I bump into them, if they're not already in my database, they go in my database. I write them a note. It goes, so great seeing you at the real estate event. Look forward to keeping in touch, Brad. That's it. That's all the more the note has to say. But when I show up at one of their listings with my buyer and it's a competitive market, guess who gets sorted to the top? I'm not saying we always win, but I'm going to tell you that we win a lot more than we lose. And I don't even know for sure when the last buyer was. Sorry, I got something in my eye here. I don't even remember what the last buyer was that I had to show or write more than 3 or 4 contracts. I mean, it's usually 1 or 2. And we are just playing the agent, playing our relationship. And many times I might not even remember exactly who they are, but they know who I am and they get stuff from me all the time. So it doesn't mean that I'm actually talking to them all that much. And you don't have to necessarily call them 4 times a year. Probably call a realtor a couple times a year. Real world deal, like literally, I'm pretty forgetful, okay? I'm old. I told you about my popcorn glasses, right? My grandpa glasses. So my popcorn glasses, I'm literally on the phone in my office and we're in a multiple offer situation. And I'm trying to find out some info, some intel to see where we are. Like, are they really strong offers? Are they whatever? And my wife comes walking past me. She's not even in real estate. And she goes, oh, that's that agent that you met from so-and-so. I went, oh, crap, I forgot to look and see if I knew her. Sure enough, she had seen me at something and came up with my wife standing there, and she knew my wife. So from a previous life. And so she's like, yeah, that's who that is. And I'm like, oh, this is going really well. So then I'm like, hey, Lisa, how you doing? Brad Korn. Oh my God, I haven't talked to you in forever. We won. Multiple offer situation because we made it work. And I wouldn't say that our offer was the prettiest one, but she knew that we could work through, and she picked our offer to counter the little off things that we had in the offer, because she knew that it was a solid offer with us. In fact, at the time it was contingent. How many of you are getting contingent offers accepted in a multiple offer situation? So it's relationships, baby, relationships. All right, anything on this before I leave this screen? So guys, don't let your income happen by accident. Don't let your amount of your deals that you can close every month happen by accident. Be very on purpose. Funnel every day. Funnel new people in. I don't care if they're leads or contacts, whichever, as long as you do the cultivate part, right? As long as you get them captured and get them in, and then you cultivate them, you are going to create a pipeline of business. All right, so the being on purpose and being intentional. And this is the lead generation is the life of an agent's business. So capture is your new life. Capture, right? The second thing you're going to do is then find address and phone number, right? So that's the research part. But to be intentional, you want to always be coming from relationship. Build from relationship, not from being a real estate agent. All the scripts about, are you thinking about buying or selling real estate? They work with people that you're already connected with. They work less than 1% of the time with people you are not connected with that are strangers, that don't know if they want to like you or trust you yet, because you have to earn that. And you're not going to earn that in one appointment, let alone 2 or 3. It might be 4 or 5 or 6 with a stranger, with somebody that you're connected with and you've written the note to. It smooths the pass out and the technical side. So I'm not a doctor, but in the back of your brain, there's a thing called the limbic part of your brain. And it's right at the base of your brain. And it's where when stuff comes into your ears and your eyes and it's processing, it goes through the limbic part of the brain first. That's the defense mechanism. Do I want to pay attention to this? Do I have time for this? Right? I just got a sales call a few minutes ago. And it's like, I'm working, right? I'm in the middle of stuff. And she's asking me questions. And I'm like, oh, I would love to hear more about this, but I'm in the middle of something right now. And my limbic part of the brain said, I do not have time to listen to the pitch. First of all, it is actually something I'm interested in. But here's what it's going to be. It's going to be 20 minutes because she's got to get my name, my address, my phone number, my credit card number to get this free $2 sample of something, right? So I don't have time to lose 15 minutes right now. So I'm like, oh, I don't really have my credit card on me right now. And she goes, oh, okay, well, then I'll call back. Click. She hung up. So that already told you what that sales pitch was. So anyway, you just have to stay on purpose and feed your database every day and get everybody in there, and you can build a consistent, persistent flow of business. And you want to do it, you want to get past the limbic part of the brain so that when you meet somebody and talk to them for the first time, then you write the handwritten note that's just a card that says, it was great catching up with you. Glad to hear you're doing well. That limbic part of the brain just goes, oh, I like this person, right? They actually took time to write me a note. It feels good. It doesn't matter what generation you're from. You are a human being with a beating heart in you. Anybody thinks a note feels good. If somebody really could show me one person out of 1,000 that got a note and said, this is the dumbest thing I've ever gotten, I'm not even opening it. Ain't going to happen most of the time, right? Unless you're mailing it to strangers. If somebody just had a conversation with you and it's got my name on it and it's a handwritten note, you're going to open it, right? You're going to open it. So anyway, you got to get past that limbic part of the brain. Now, when my phone rings again, or some of the drip pieces come across their mailbox one week, or their inbox the next week, or social media the next week, when they see the name attached to that phone call and the handwritten note and it feels good, they actually glance at it for a second. I'm not saying they read everything. In fact, I guarantee you they don't read past the first sentence. Even then, they're just reading the first sentence and then they maybe jump down to the bottom, see if there's anything important, and then they throw it away. Even though you've done the other 2 things, they are not reading anything you're sending them if it's more than a paragraph long. Actually, anything more than a sentence long, I can almost promise you most people are not reading what you're sending them. So quit worrying about it. Just get connected and send drip pieces so they see your name again, so that when your phone call comes through again in 4 weeks, they actually see your name on the phone. They've seen your name every week for the last 4 weeks on stuff. Doesn't matter if they read it or not. And they've got a good feeling attached to that handwritten note. They process it and they answer it. Now, if you take that the other way, and I'll explain it one more time for those of you who might have missed it the first time. If I call out of the blue, hey, it's Brad with Keller Williams, just calling to see if you have just a couple of minutes to give me some help. And they're like, well, yeah, what do you need? And it's like, I'm just wondering if you're thinking about buying or selling. This is the first call out of the blue, right? And they're going to say, oh, no, I mean, we're not right now. 98, 99% of the time, they're going to say that. And then you're going to say, well, do you know anybody else that is? I'm in real estate now, and I'm looking to help some people buy and sell real estate. It's like, yeah, I mean, I can't think of anybody. The call just came out of left field. Of course, they're not thinking about real estate. But if I do that same thing with the phone call and the note and the drips, then when I called them in 8 or 9 or 10 weeks or 6 months or a year, and I say, hey, today's call is about business. You got a couple minutes, give me some help. They're like, yeah. And they're thinking about real estate every time they get something from you. So it's in there more. They're going to actually have something for you once in a while. It's not a lot great. It's not a lot better, but it is more often than 0 or 1 out of 100 or 1,000. So on this, your message with your database is always to strengthen your relationship with them. Strengthen, strengthen, strengthen. The real estate will happen naturally. However, you do not make any money unless you sell real estate. So please make sure there's a little bit of real estate in there. Even though you don't need to, sometimes you need to read it and feel it out. That now's where I can pop that question to see if they got a couple minutes, give me some help. So let me pause out there for a second, take a breath. What are you guys, what are you guys struggling with? What have you heard so far that you can do? And or what have you heard so far that maybe you wish you could do it, but you just don't think it's going to be that easy? Anybody have any questions or any doubt that this would work? Or how many of you are getting so dang excited about it, you'd rather get off the call right now and get that Facebook list done and get the addresses and phone numbers and start selling some houses? Where are we? Is everybody busy in the background writing notes?
Writing down the names.
Say that again.
I'm writing down the names from my Facebook contacts.
I got you. Yes. Oh man, I can't wait. Can't wait. Can't wait till you share what you're doing with your real estate. And just remember, it's every single day. Call till you get 5 people on the phone that you connect with. If you connect with them, put them in command and start them on a smart plan to remind you to call them again, right? And stay in touch with them. The second part of it is that there's other people that you might call and talk to that you don't really connect with. It's really short because you're coming out of left field and you're not real comfortable with just getting into conversation yet. Leave those people in your notebook. Don't take them out until you get connected where you can send them a note and it really means something. I see people cram these notes through before they've really connected. And I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. You will still pick up more business than if you don't do it. However, if you didn't get past the limbic part of their brain, it just got shut down and it's like you're still coming out of left field. So that's what the connection piece is for. All right. Anybody else before I go on to the next slide? All right, so we talked about this early on in Ignite, and it was the different types of marketing versus prospecting. And what you got to understand is I already know how your brain is working. And let me just run through this first, and I'll tell you what you may find yourself doing. So the first one is marketing is money intensive, meaning you're marketing out to the general public. Just think of anything mass. You're going mass with it. So you got to spend money either on a billboard or a bus bench or a shopping cart at the grocery store, a mailer to a neighborhood, any of that kind of stuff that you got to do to get business. That's going to cost you money to get it down. So it's money intensive. It is also not really truly lead generation. It's lead receiving, because what you're doing is you're throwing a message out there and you think you're lead generating. But really, it's got some postcard on it that says, if you call me, I can tell you how much you can get for your house. Call me today. And it's passive because you're waiting for them to call. It'd be different if you sent the postcard out and then you called, right? And then you not only called, but you connect and then you write the note and then you put them on a drip plan onto why they would want to know the value of their home. You send them weekly updates on what's been selling in their neighborhood. So if I put all that stuff behind it, it's not as passive anymore. It's being more proactive, right? Because now I'm not waiting for them to call, I'm calling them. But most people in their marketing is passive lead receiving, not lead generating. And you have to do it for a long period of time. So here I've been doing this for 30 years, right? Bring a new team member on. He's like, oh my gosh, we got to do a postcard mailing to my neighborhood and tell them, we can give them a free value on their house. Like, realtors have been doing that to your neighborhood for hundreds of years. It's not going to get the results. Not every neighbor knows who he is. And I said, why don't you pick up the phone and call the neighbors that you know, right? Connect with them, see how they've been doing if you haven't seen them in a little while. Write them a handwritten note, and then we'll see if we can work in the message about getting the value of their house. But see, you're only going to be able to do that on 5 or 10 people in your neighborhood, because the other 50 people or 150 people don't know who you are. And just because you're mailing from your neighborhood doesn't mean they're going to call you. Believe me, I've done it. It's expensive to mail to those houses. And if you're going to ever do that, I'm not saying it doesn't work, but where it does work is long term. So go print 10 years worth of postcards for that neighborhood. Print them all at once and have them addressed and stamped, sitting in your office for the next 10 years, right? That'd be 120 postcards sitting in stacks. Do that, and I bet you'll get some money back out of it. Now, I don't know if you'll recoup all of your money from the mailer, but you probably will if you do it for the next 10 years. But it's a long time before you'll see the results come back out of it. You'll get one here and there once in a while, 2 or 3 a year. So you'll probably pay for it in the first couple of years, but it might get up to 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 in 10 years. You won't see much more than a 10 or 20% market capture of that neighborhood if all you did was postcards. Now, if over the years you added in meeting each neighbor, knocking on every door until you've met them all, and then you put phone calls in with that, and then you put notes in with that, and then you do a dumpster day event, and then you do like an Easter egg hunt coming up for Easter, right? Whatever it is, and you start getting plugged into that community while those things are going out, you're bringing in the prospecting piece, and that's where it's more time intensive. Making calls takes more time, right? And it's more proactive, and you get better results because when we're talking to people directly, we can actually sense when they say, yeah, we've been kind of wondering what our house might be worth. Well, great. How about if I just stop over 15, 20 minutes, I can show you what the market's doing and what your house would sell for in this market. So once again, you guys getting excited about this now? How many of you see a whole different picture of your business right now? That there is a lot of business to be had, right? All right, so different types of prospecting. So now when we're talking about actually the how to do this and how to grow your business, right? And how to run your business. So now it's time to take this list and pick what you're going to do. What are you going to do? How are you going to lead generate? Because you have a whole lot of stuff on here. And we already talked about this in a previous session, where if you just take every single item and put it in the order in which you might actually do it. Just rewrite this list in your perfect order, not perfect order, the order that you would most likely do to the one that you would least likely do, right? Then you're going to grab like the first 10 off of there, and you're going to prioritize those into which ones would I actually do, and get it down to your 2 or 3 that you're going to implement today and put a date on it and start doing it. Guys, I'm telling you, the message coming straight from the annual conference, Family Reunion, is that open houses were number 3 on the list for finding buyers. They are still going to open houses. So once somebody says, yeah, but they sell before they get on the market, or we don't have any listings on the market, we don't have this, we don't have that, can't do it. Well, I'm telling you, it's the number 3 source for buyers. So don't worry about selling the listing. Just take any house anywhere and do an open house on it. Go find for sale by owner. Ask them if you want them to conduct an open house for them. I mean, you just got to get creative, and you got to get out there and do it. If you're newer in real estate, and we talked about passive, high dollar intensive marketing versus proactive prospecting, open houses are prospecting. It's free. Invest the time in your business and go do that if you don't have money, right? It costs you no money to do an open house. It costs you time, but you have time right now when you're new until you build up so many customers from open houses that you can't do them anymore. So build your business and be on purpose. Okay, so I was actually going to give you guys a couple of ideas, like concrete ideas. So on here, I'm going to pick something that you normally wouldn't think about, but on item number 4, key relationships, and then it says builders, number 2. Guys, we did a parade of homes, if you have anything like that, to builders. Basically, go pick up the free book, open it up, and it's going to have every builder in the magazine who was in this parade of properties or whatever you call it in your marketplace. There they are right there. I mean, their address, their phone number, everything's there. So I just put a parade letter program together that talked about congratulations on entering the parade. Congratulations on the award you may have won, right? Then there's a phone call to say, hey, this is Brad. I'm just following up on a letter to congratulate so-and-so on your award, right? Then there's a social media post where maybe I shared that with a page out of the book, right? And then another letter. And then about a month or two after the parade was over, the message started changing. And it said, how has traffic been going since the parade's gotten over? Are you having as many people through your models today as you did a month ago or 2 months ago, whenever that letter showed up? How would you like to get a consistent flow of traffic through your properties? Let's meet. I'll show you the 10 things we do to get more people through our properties than any other real estate agent. I mean, that was breaking the mold, like to get in with somebody I haven't met yet, that I don't have a relationship with, but yet I'm intriguing them enough to go, all right, I might need to meet with them. Got 5 builder appointments out of that. Probably had about 100 builders on the program on that drip plan following Parade of Homes. And I got 5 appointments to sit down with them and talk about the 10 things that we were doing, and then picked up a subdivision from it too. So it's about really being on purpose. Be on purpose. Any questions about anything, jump in anytime. All right, let's see what we're doing on time. Okay, so deep dive prospecting methods. So once you get in there and you figure out kind of what you're going to do, you take your top ones, right? Door knocking, agent to agent referrals, ding, 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 open houses, and social media. Guys, agent to agent referrals. We have an app, like our command is in an app. It's called Kelly, right? And the command, and there's a referral network. Do you know that you can go into command? This is not a command class, but I hope I intrigue you enough to figure out who knows how to track this thing down. You can actually go into command, and in one of the reports under the referral section, it will show you what states are bringing the most traffic, people moving to your area. It'll say 13 people came to New Jersey from California, 28 people came from Oregon, 62 people came from Florida. Whatever it might be, it will show you where the incoming states are. Do you know you could just take an hour a day and go through the other way and pull up Florida and find the agents in Florida that you could request to become network friends with? Then if you're on purpose about it and you make 6, 7, 8 touches, then the next thing you're going to do is call them, or maybe even send an email that says, hey, did you see my friendship or my referral request on the KW app? Then you might send them a text that says, hey, I'm going to call you in a few. I'm an agent in New Jersey. I know a lot of people move from Florida to New Jersey, so I'm going to give you a call in a few minutes. Then you call them. Then you write them a handwritten note. Then you get them, while you got them on the phone, you have them connect with you on your referral app. Now you're creating a referral network of agents. Guys, what I just said takes an hour a day. If you did 5 hours of that a week, you will have a network of agents around the country, and you haven't even left your house. I mean, it's just take action. Remember, we said we're going to take action today. So how many of you are getting some good ideas so far? How many of you, I'm getting you a little more excited about this prospecting thing? Yes. All right. I think you guys are just bashful and shy. In your book is your deep dive on these items that we were just talking about, on what you're going to do to your approach, your act, your ask, and your advance. It gives it all to you on the different prospecting methods. It's right there in your book. Use it. Print this thing off and use it. All right. Okay, let's see. What do I have here? People remember who you are, especially if you did it with a note. They will really remember you. Like if they just bump into you and you used a real estate script on them, and then you didn't stay in touch with them over the next couple of weeks, or maybe then it turns into months and it turns into 6 months, they're not going to remember you very well. But if you follow up every two-way conversation with a genuine note, they're going to remember you better, right? Another general conversation is while you're working through your list, just ask them what they love about their neighborhood. Say, man, I'm selling houses all around in the area, and I like to ask people what they love about their neighborhood. I take notes on it. So if I have a buyer looking in that neighborhood, then I can tell them what you liked about your neighborhood. So I'm actually selling houses and bringing you new neighbors. So just overcome your limiting beliefs that you don't know what to talk about when you're talking to people. Talk about community, talk about things that are going on in the area, right? Okay. 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes for you to think of any questions you have to take action behind this. The prospecting. This is the thing. The one thing, if you do this, none of the other classes will matter. Well, they'll matter, but you don't need them right now. You need this now. So I hope you guys are thinking about what you're getting excited about and what you're thinking about doing. And it doesn't have to be one of my examples. You can throw anything out on the table here in just a minute to share what you're going to take from prospecting and what you're going to do to generate some business. So there's a call to action coming for all of you on this. I just want to hear what you guys are going to do or what's ringing on your side that you could do some actual on purpose prospecting and being purposeful about it versus just waiting for it to happen. So think about that, because we're going to come up and ask you for that here in just a minute. So here's your being prospecting based and marketing enhanced. Referrals will come from agents they know and the agents they meet. So even if it's local agents, I already talked about that. But even local, if you created a relationship with your local agents, not only to make your transactions go smoother, but you're just nice to everybody and you provide feedback whenever you show a house and you call and check on them or see them at events once we start getting out and doing more events again, right? Or just invite them for coffee. To just say, hey, I'm just wanted to meet up for coffee. There's a chance we're going to work together sometime in the future. And I wanted to find out what's going on in your world, share what's going on in my world, see how we can help each other sell some more real estate. Those local people, they retire. They have listings that expire. They have all kinds of referrals. I have had local real estate agents that unfortunately are getting a divorce, right? And the husband or the spouse, I shouldn't say it was just husband, because it's been both sides. But the spouse is like, there is no way in heck you're listing our property to sell, right? So they want a neutral party to represent them. Guys, what if you became the realtor's realtor? Like you have such a reputation and relationship with local real estate agents that if they ever had to do something that they couldn't do it, that they're going to refer you. Say, well, I mean, if I can't do it, the only other person I would call is Brad Korn. And that's the kind of reputation you want to build. And that's the kind of reputation that is so fun that I've experienced, right? From more than one real estate agent. My competitors, not even at the same company. We're talking different companies. They'll call me and go, hey, I need some help. So anyway, that's what a real estate agent does, right? We're marriage counselors, we're psychiatrists, whatever. I bet if you haven't figured that out, you soon will. Yeah, Shaniqua, you got a question? I saw a hand raised. If you want to unmute to ask, you can. I don't know if you put something in the chat box.
I have a question about the open house. So what do? Do you just ask someone to have an open house on their listing?
Yeah, so here's the cool thing with open houses, guys. Do you know you can have an open house in any house listed by any agent anywhere? That's your unlimited box. So what I would do is, first of all, I would know, you probably already know what area you kind of like to work in. You know what kind of price range you'd like to be in. And if you're wide open to everything because you don't know and you just want to get something going, then it's wide open. But I can literally cherry pick to watch the new listings every single day. So every single morning, first thing when you get up, if you get up before the sun's up like I do at 4:30 in the morning, I'm looking at what's going live, what went live that day, right? Or maybe you do this at the end of the day or the middle of the day or a couple times. Any brand new listings that came on with any KW agent, I would be clicking. And first of all, I'd look at the map. I'd map them all out. And the ones that are closest to busy streets in the area I want to be in the price range I'd like to work in, I'm going to pull up those and call the agent directly and go, first of all, I wouldn't call and just say, hey, it's Brad Korn over here. I just want to see if you want me to do an open house on your listing. I would say, hey, congratulations on your new listing. That looks awesome. What do you expect the traffic to be like on that? Is that going to sell by the end of the day, or you think it's going to take a couple days? Oh, well, we're going to hold offers until blah, blah, blah. And so if I'm just talking, this is my world. I did open houses on Thursdays from 4 to 7. I did them on Saturday from 1 to 4, and I did them on Sunday from 1 to 4. And I did that for my first 3 years in real estate, 3 days a week, open houses, because I had no money. I knew nobody. And I figured, why not do open houses? They're free and there's houses all over. So in those particular cases, I would call and say, what's your traffic supposed to be like, blah, blah, blah. How would you like to impress your sellers a little bit? Because I know there's not a lot of people doing open houses these days. But I'm looking for an open house in that area, in that price range, that I would hold the house open to see if you could get even more offers on your property, right? So maybe you can impress your sellers with the fact that nobody's doing open houses and you can tell them you had one. I'll be showing up as a representative of your team, but I'll hold the house open, whether it's sold or not sold. I'm going to put signs everywhere. I'm going to do some marketing on social media. I mean, if you're going to go do it, go big, man. Get as many people to that open house as you possibly can. Put 10 signs up everywhere. Put it on every free site that you can list open houses on. Put on realtor.com, all that stuff. I would have the listing agent put it on the MLS open house tab, because that feeds out to a whole bunch of websites. I'd have them put it on their realtor.com tab where their property is sitting, because that feeds out to other properties. You can even ask them to share it with you, and then you can do all this stuff. There are so many things that you could do to be on purpose to drive as much traffic as possible to that open house, because your goal isn't necessarily to sell the house. It's just to meet all the buyers that are coming through. If you're lucky and in this market, you probably have the best chance that you might sell it at the open house or be one of the offers that are competing for it if they're not being represented. So does that give you a little bit wider view of open houses and what you might be able to do with that? Or do you have more questions? I think we're not mute. You're not unmuted if you're talking. All right, maybe we satisfied the question. I'm going to assume that. Otherwise, she'll jump back in.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, does that help?
Yes. Thank you.
I mean, guys, have fun with it. Like, be on purpose. Don't just decide to do it on Saturday night or Sunday morning and go throw a sign up and sit there for 4 hours. Be so on. I mean, if you have time, go knock on, get a couple days notice and show up and knock on the doors. Run a flyer out the day before to the houses around it and invite them for a special preview 15 minutes before your open house. Knock on the door where you're putting the signs. I said put 10 signs up. Somebody's going to say, well, where do you get 10 signs? Buy them. Just say open house Saturday 1 to 4. Your logo, your sign, and buy 10 of them. I bought 100 of them. I found a site that did corrugated 2-color with the stakes for about $4 a sign. So I bought 100 of them. That way, if they got lost, I didn't care. They weren't expensive. I didn't spend a ton of money on it. It was $400. They will last about 6 months. And then you'll lose half of them, and then you'll lose all of them by the end of 6 months. And then you buy another batch for $400. But for $400, I got more than $4,000 in commissions from those buyers. I probably picked up 2 or 3 buyers off those open houses. Actually, probably over a 6-month period, more than that. That's how I built my business. So watch for that stuff. Watch for that. Agent to agent referrals, I think I kind of already talked about that one, the importance of that. Another great way to market to the agents is just to market stuff you're learning in some of the classes and stuff, and just share your ahas with each other. Everybody in these offices, you guys cover a pretty big area. I'd be writing down every single person's name on every one of these calls. I've said this on just about every call. I'd be writing down every person's name that I know that's been to any of these sessions, and they would go on my drip plan. Because then it shows that you're actually adding people to your database and you're putting them on a drip plan. And how many people have put you on the drip plan since this class started? How many people added you to Command and asked to be your referral network? Probably none. So if you're the one doing it, then you're encouraging them to do the stuff they just heard that they should be doing. And you're being the first one, so you're getting in and getting their referrals. So Command does track a lot of this stuff. Again, you'll be able to track all your referrals just through the referral side of Command. I wish we could freeze time and we could sit here for several hours and go into Command and do all that stuff. But really, this is to get you excited enough that you want to figure out where it is and go find the classes that will take you through it, or just open up Command and see if you can figure it out yourself. Most of the time you can. So be prospecting based, marketing enhanced. So that's you're still prospecting through open houses, but you can do some marketing enhancement to mail out to the neighborhoods ahead of time. If you know a new listing's coming on the market, that you're going to have an open house on the first Sunday of the month. See what else we got here. If I have 10 signs everywhere, that was one of the best tips that made my open houses transform from just being there on Sunday or whatever day it was for a few hours to getting the most traffic possible by putting 10 signs. That was right from Gary Keller. So that's in page 7 of your participant guide. All right, prospecting, adding contacts, and following up every day, guys. If you don't feed that database every single day with some people, you are missing out on free money. You're missing out on so much money. I will tell you that adding 5 new connections a day for 6 months should result in a net $50,000 to maybe, in your guys' market, $75,000 or $100,000 in income. And the only reason I know that is for 6 months after I heard this message, just like I'm giving it to you, I took 6 months trying to create the perfect follow-up plan before I put anybody in the database. And then I heard the message again. And now I'm like, well, this is just stupid. I just wasted 6 months. I just need to start putting people in. So I did that for the next 6 months, and I added $50,000 to my bottom line. $50,000 in commissions over a 6-month period. So it is the plan. It's to start today. All right, just get through these last couple of things here. Open houses. Oh, we already talked about open houses. You can host a speaker, offer gifts, do all that stuff. I gave you a whole bunch of tips on open houses. It's all in your book there. Social media. You can get into the social media stuff that, again, don't rely on just social media. There's so much noise out there, you're going to get lost. But you can do targeted advertising. I mean, I work the database, so I don't do a lot of this stuff. I just know you can do targeted advertising for a specific age range, area, all that stuff. But what I would do if I'm doing any social media stuff, again, if I say social media, most people think of Facebook, but Facebook's all personal except for a little bit of real estate. And maybe your little bit of real estate stuff is just unique features in some of the houses that you're showing. So once you start going out and you're previewing 10 homes a week, just start taking pictures of the weirdest, coolest, awesome, off the chart, unique little features in houses and start posting on that. We had one house in particular that it had like a Garanimal wallpaper around the kid's bedroom, but on each fan of the fan blade of the ceiling fan was another one of those animals. So what I did was I took a picture of the fan. It was so unique. I looked up, I took a picture of the fan and I said, fan, $500,000. You get a free house with it that matches the fan. I got more comments on something silly like that, and it was real estate related. And that I got so many comments on that. It was just duh, right? Duh. All right, I think we're just about to the end here. Social media, make it 20% business, 80% personal. And take action to develop your plan. Guys, when you guys put your stuff together, what are you actually going to do? What are you going to put in place first? Make sure I don't have any notes here. 90% of an agent's business came from their top 5 lead sources, and that was sphere of influence, repeat business, purchase leads, yard signs, and referrals. So if I'm going to go through my list and prioritize, and I need to get a deal as soon as possible, well, there's the one target. Now put the list next to it and pull anything off that falls in referrals, sphere of influence, repeat business, purchase signs, or yard signs. So yard signs are open houses. You get to put 10 signs up leading to the open house a week before. I don't care if they steal my signs after a week. I don't care if one disappears. I got 10 of them out. If your city doesn't allow it, that might be a different thing. But just take that master list, prioritize it, and then pull out the ones that you will see yourself doing that actually, hopefully they're in one of those top 5 that you're looking at right there. And then you just develop your prospecting plan. So I want to get to your ahas on this. So we'll give you the review sheet for you guys to let me know, well, really let your office know. You got to let your leadership know that what you got out of this class, if it was worth your time to be here today, and even to tune back into it later. So click that link real quick out of the chat box so it opens up a new tab. That way, when we close out, by the time we're done asking questions, when you close out, you'll still have that tab open. So you can submit a review real quick of the class on what you got, what you liked, and what some of your ahas were. All right, so let me open it up for questions and see what questions you guys have. Clarity, anything. Was it a good class? What was your favorite thing you heard? Maybe everybody's microphones aren't working today. I don't know. Hopefully you were paying attention. Hopefully you took notes. All right.
Everything was good. Thank you.
Yes, awesome. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you will take this and do something with it, all right?
Yeah, I will.
Tell me what you're doing and email me if you have any questions. Track me down.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're going to tune out now. We'll see you on Wednesday.
All right. Bye.